Ryan from ReviewTheWorld.com. I apologize for any wind. I'm shooting this solo. This is another co-video with my boy Billy from VeggieMacabre.com. His idea for this particular video was well within my wheelhouse, and he said, let's do a video on our favorite Zen spot. That would be a place that you go to get away, to recharge your batteries, to contemplate life, to, you know, just go and relax and kind of reset. And I gotta tell you, I keep a relatively upbeat, positive outlook on life, and part of the reason why is because I carve out some time to hit some of my favorite Zen spots. Now, I have multiple, but today we're gonna focus on my #1 favorite Zen spot. It's a couple blocks here from my home. Actually, this is where I grew up. This is my parents' house. I no longer live here, but this childhood neighborhood where I grew up, very close to my heart. I'm obviously a very sentimental, nostalgic guy, wear my heart on my sleeve. That's apparent if you followed the website the last decade. But here in my neighborhood, I got to take you guys a couple blocks down the way to Crawford Woods. Crawford Woods is an awesome spot, very near and dear to my heart. We're gonna go check it out right now, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, take a little walking tour, and you're gonna see firsthand my favorite Zen spot. Billy and all the fans, let's hop in the car and shoot over there. Let's go. Alright, we're heading over to Crawford Woods right now. When I was a kid, me and all the neighborhood boys, we'd ride our bikes over to Crawford Woods. Very reminiscent of, you know, Stand By Me, or like the Goonies, you know, very cinematically. We'd all take our bikes, and Crawford Woods is where we'd go play war. It's where we'd go run around, swing on ropes over the creek. We're getting ready to pull up right now. Crawford Woods. If you're coming into the park via vehicle, or most likely also by foot, this is the main entrance, really the only entrance, unless you're on foot and you get creative. To the left is the playground, a lot of picnic shelters. Down this way, the woods themselves, which are amazing to explore, especially as a youth. Also back that way is the Ray Combs Little League field, baseball diamonds. And so we'll take a look at those as well. Ray Combs, RIP, former, he was a host of Family Feud, a comedian. Back in the day, local guy, born in Hamilton here. And so, also of note, this plaque here kind of gives the history of Crawford Woods. There's a house on the property that was built in 1835, was used by the Parks Department for a long time. Now you can rent it out, I believe, for special events and whatnot. Pretty cool. So let's get started on this tour. There goes my bag. Alright guys, it's time to eat lunch. Now, I like to come here a lot throughout the year. Typically my favorite spots to hit are like Sonic Drive-In and Rallies, which is also known as Checkers in some parts of the country. But typically, you know, like a burger, some fries. I like to come here and first off, eat. I like to pick out a picnic spot, kind of look around. Typically it's very quiet here, which is also nice. A lot of, you know, self-introspection and reflection and thought. And just a great view to sit out here and eat. I mean, you could eat inside, you know, a restaurant, but it's definitely a lot different when you're out here in the open air. The sounds, the smells, very cool. And so today I picked up Penn Station East Coast Subs. Fresh cut fries is their specialty. Subs. I got a Philly cheesesteak 8-inch. Typically I go with 10, which is a medium. This is a small. It's got grilled onions, banana peppers, obviously the Philly steak and the cheese. some mayo and some pizza sauce. A lot of times when I go there, I like to get a Pepsi and throw some lemon wedges in it and just smash that, but I'm trying to cut back on the sugary drinks, so I got the water. I'm gonna feast in here. I actually haven't ate but hardly a bite this entire day. I'm shooting this at almost 7 p.m. But today's officially the second day of spring, and the park's actually relatively busy, which is kind of a nice change of pace. Lately, I've been the only guy up here. And after I eat, though, and I get some fuel, we're going to take a little hike, and I can kind of talk a little bit more about the park, what it means to me, and show you guys some of it. So I'm going to go ahead and eat now. Okay, there's been a short break in the playground as it's getting dark, and since nobody's here, I'm about to tear it up one time. I'm going to put my wallet, my keys down, just one time. So this particular playground structure, you may have seen it once before. It was in the Batman disc launcher game we did a couple years back. Super steep slide. Whoa! Works like a charm. Okay, next up is this clearing over here. Excuse me. Which I actually didn't really discover until a year or two ago, because it's sort of out of the way. I mean, typically if you come here, if you have small kids, you're taking them to play on the playground or back to the ball fields. If you're a young kid yourself, you're probably exploring the woods. So you don't really get over here unless you seek it out. But I don't know. It's really cool the way that the trees are plotted out. It has kind of an otherworldly quality that's hard to really pin down. And right now the trees are barren. In the fall, this is one of the most beautiful places I've seen, not just in southwestern Ohio, but period. So as you can see, the rest of the park, quite a distance away. I'd say a good 100, 150 feet from here. And this would actually be an ideal spot for a picnic, maybe. The ground's relatively flat here. There is a road, I believe this is Hancock Avenue, right out that way. So you would have some, some noise and whatnot, but relatively peaceful. And so this is just one of the many parts of the park, one that I'm still relatively new to myself, but one that I will include on today's little travel log. We've got some more to see, so let's keep going. I'm guessing the bathroom facilities probably are not open for the season yet, and it's not a marvelous attraction on the tour. Yeah, padlocked. Sign looks relatively new. For me, the true sign of a Zen spot is a place where you feel serenity, nirvana, a place where everything kind of falls together and makes sense, a place that allows you to sit back for a moment and think about your life, put things in order, walk away feeling more positive, more optimistic, more ready to face the challenges of the day. And as I say that, we come to something I kind of want to show you here. So, looks like some of these stones have been brought in fairly recently. This creek here runs throughout the park. And it can be rushing, the waters, or in the winter it can be iced over. When it's really dry, nothing at all. Nick, who works on Review the World, when we first met each other in high school, we took the video camera down here and we shot a little action sequence, like a little fight scene. And I don't know how I convinced him to do it. God bless him. He let me knock him off this into the water, which at that point was about, I'd say, at least 2 to 3 foot deep, freezing outside. What a trooper, Nick. I salute you. And while we're on the topic of this particular stretch of land and Nick, maybe if I get down here a little bit closer, on RtW TV, Review the World TV, one of the episodes, we did a little bit with a toy fishing thing, and man, people love to talk at you when you carry a camera. And we shot a little bit, a little fishing bit with toy fishing line and a toy plastic fishes. We shot that right here. Me and Nick were really proud of it at the time, feeling that it was very cinematic, which was funny given the subject matter. But I'm walking back towards the baseball diamonds, and up this path will lead us directly there. This particular stretch of hill calls to mind post-high school. For me, that would be like 2000, 2001. Me, Jesse, Nick, a lot of my buddies, we'd ride scooters and skateboards down this hill. Death-defying feats. Always fun. If I'm a little out of breath, don't mind me. Now, it probably comes to no surprise to you guys at home that there's cars up here. But I need to explain, for me, this is kind of an unexpected sight. I come up here at least once a week, sometimes more. And excuse me again. Lately, this place has been barren due to the severe cold weather we've had this winter. But today, a lot of activity. So I planned on doing a relatively thorough investigation of the ball diamonds. This is where I played T-ball as a kid, and then I played slow pitch. My dad was actually the manager of the Blue Jays, the team I was on, which was a pretty cool experience. Maybe something I should put down in text one day, maybe make an article out of. But as I was saying, it's a lot of kids up here. I guess it would be spring training. A lot of kids up here practicing for the forthcoming season. And so I don't want to encroach too much on the families and whatnot with the camera. So I'm going to back away from the tour of the ball diamonds, but to let you know that this is here. And at one part, it looked really, really bad. I mean, it was in drastic need of paint, of refurbishment. And I feel like in the last couple years, from what I've noticed, they've put a lot of money back into it, and it seems to be really thriving, and that's good. This is a sense of community, of place, and I mean, it's still, we're coming out of the dredges of winter, fly ball, but here soon when it's summer, this place will really be singing, and that'll be really cool. There's actually a little, well, can't see it from that vantage point, but over where the white van is, that red building there is a concession stand. As a kid, I used to get all kinds of snacks out of there, and it's still operational, which is kind of cool. Well, I'm kind of going off the beaten path. The scene here, I'm basically fighting nightfall, and park being a lot busier than I expected has kind of prevented me from getting some of the material I would like to. So, kind of as a makeshift plan B, here in a minute I'm going to hook a right, do a little exploring, and we'll see what we discover. So not incredibly off the beaten path for me. This is, but it is kind of hidden from the bulk of the park. This little clearing here we actually used in one of my favorite short movies we've ever done called Consequences. I directed it and was one of the co-stars. It was loosely, it wasn't based upon, but it was definitely inspired by the film Deliverance. And it's basically about the consequences of doing negative things, and it's got some cool moments. But if you've seen it, or if you will check out the site and watch it, some pretty pivotal scenes happen here. Spoiler alert, I think somebody gets shot and dies right there. Now, if memory serves, there's a pretty steep hill, and the ground's getting awfully mushy, but this might be kind of a cool little, kind of an adventure. Ooh man, that ground looks awfully grotesque. Oh man. Well, no time like the present. Oh. Okay, yeah, I know where we're gonna come out at. Cool. I'm gonna close the camera for a second in case I slip in this mud. I don't want that to be a YouTube sensation. Okay, it's that famed golden hour, the term that's used in filmmaking. The hour right before the sun sets. My favorite filmmaker, Terrence Malick, utilizes it. It's a specialty. The sun's compelling me. My makeshift tripod is actually my wallet. You know, it's fat stack, baby. So, in closing, this has been an interesting review. In my mind, the way I envisioned it was a lot different. I ran into some obstacles, the daylight, or lack thereof, as we run out of time here tonight. The park was a lot more abundant, which is a good thing. I mean, I'll take the enjoyment and the pleasure and fun of the civilians over the quality, or lack thereof, of my video. But much busier, so I wasn't able to capture like the playground or like the ball fields adequately. But that's not, I guess what we need to focus in and kind of rein our attention in on is why this is my Zen spot. And if I can somehow get that across to you with some form of brevity, then perhaps this will be a success after all. So for me, you know, this is my neighborhood. I lived at home for 24 years. And at my heart, at my core, I've lived in a couple apartments. I own a house now. My heart is always in this neighborhood. And this is one of the only spots that's relatively unchanged. Right down the block in the other direction from my house, which you saw at the beginning of the video, my parents' house, my childhood home, was Van Buren Elementary School. That's where I went to elementary school at. And that place, man, just big chunk of my heart and soul goes there. However, a couple years ago, it was demolished. They laid out grass. Now it's just an empty field. And it's heartbreaking. I won't dwell on that, but that's a place that I thought that I could always have and go back to and return to and to take my children to and show them this is... No, it's gone. Crawford Woods, though, is here. It's been here a long time. And it's not necessarily a historical landmark per se, but I mean, it's been here a very long time. I don't see it going anywhere. And so for me, this is one of the few remnants of my childhood that I can come back to easily and connect to. And, you know, whether it's walking around, this past winter when it's too cold to really get out and explore, I would actually pull my car into the parking lot, back in, and I'd pick up some food, some fast food, whatever it might be. I'd sit in I'd eat in the car. I'd sit. This is at any place that I could choose to eat my lunch. I find myself coming here again and again and again, week after week, and so that says something to me. Subconsciously, I direct myself back here, and to me, that's the making of a true Zen spot. Now, you may be. Well, let's take Will, for example, my partner in crime for this video. He's moved all around the country, so it's more difficult for him to go back to like a childhood spot. So you can create one in your new town if you you know, transport it. But for me, this is number one. You know, something that might not come across in the videos because usually I chop them up, I edit them down. Is in real life, if you get the chance to meet me, to know me, you know, I can talk all night. We can hit up the diner, grab coffee, water, some pecan pie, some food, whatever. And I love conversation. I love to listen. I like to think that I'm a relatively good listener. And so something near and dear to my heart, though, I could talk about for hours. And I fear that with Crawford Woods, I could pull out, you know, if I took the time and energy and effort, I could make a 90-minute, you know, 2-hour documentary about Crawford Woods. And maybe even then it would have like an 8-hour bonus features, extra disc, you know. But I hope this works. I'm going to play around with it in editing and see what I come up with. And the reason I guess that it's launched so in my mind and I'm thinking about it so much is just because the place, I do love it so much that I really want it, I want this video to do it justice. That's all. And so I hope I did that. If not, maybe we'll do take 2 here shortly as it warms up. Alright guys, thanks for your patience. Thanks so much, Bill, for the idea, the Zen spot. Listen, everybody, if you don't have a Zen spot yet, your life, I'm sorry to inform you, but also happy because now you can include it. Wow, look, just found a little ball. Man, I'm like a little child. I'm terrible. But find your Zen spot, man. Start seeking it out this summer. You know, life's busy. I understand family, work, school, all of these things. Try to find, even if it's just 20 minutes every week or every 2 weeks, go out, you know, find a spot where you can come and, you know, hopefully you'll find one that you love as much as I love Crawford Woods. All right, we're out of here. See you guys.